Obviously, like,
There it is.
I'll eat you. That's all for you.
Yo,
What is
good
up?
morning,
Good morning,
Blue.
good morning.
Good morning, good morning. It is, I don't even know what day it is.
Sunday!
It's
Sunday the
Sunday.
14th.
It is June 14th, and we are here live. Welcome, everyone.
Woohoo.
This is Blue. If you don't know what Blue is,
Welcome
this
to
is
it.
the student ministry at First Baptist Church Frisco. And so if you're new to us, hey, we're glad you're here.
We're so glad you're here.
If you're like old to us, we're glad you're here
glad
too.
you're here
So
also.
it's good. So this Blue is for 6th through 12th grade.
Mhm.
That is our ministry, and so we're glad that you're watching with us, and we can't wait to connect with you when things get back to
in
normal.
person.
Yeah, so
Can't wait for that.
But until then, we're here live,
Yep.
so enjoy it. And Blue is a place for community. It's a place for fun. It's a place for just life, right? So
Right.
we want you to connect with us, and one of the best ways that we do that, Brittany, is through small groups.
Small groups. We've
And-
been connecting
yeah.
with small groups on Zoom during this time, but hopefully we'll be meeting in person pretty soon.
Who knows?
So if you're
Who
not in a
knows?
small group, if you're not plugged in, if you haven't been meeting with your small group, let us know or reach out to your small group. yeah. If you're new to us, we have a link in the chat. We'd love to connect you with a small group with us, get to know you better. So fill that out, and we will connect with you later this week.
Yeah, because we want you to be informed of what's going on. So make sure that if you are new, fill that out for us and get hooked up and get involved with us. So right now, Brittany, we are usually traveling. We are usually we would have just finished VBS.
Yeah.
We would have been getting ready for some trips. We would have been getting ready for some crossover, but it's Corona season.
It is.
So
here we are.
But people are like, are we going to Renew? And the question is, we are planning to go to Renew. It's September 4th through the 7th. So
Mark your calendars.
We're working on it. We're planning on it. We'll see what Corona brings us. But anyway, we are still planning on and
so
making
pray
that
with
happen.
us about that.
Please
pray for it. Pray that it can happen.
And Renew is our
God will
summer
lift
camp.
your
It doesn't sound like it's a summer camp because it's a Labor Day weekend, but it's our summer camp. So it's a lot of fun. So pray that Renew will happen.
Yes.
Hey, and what big news? We announced this last week.
Beep, beep, beep.
June 28th, which is in 2 Sundays, we are back here live in person. But don't worry, we're also going to be online.
Yeah.
So don't fret.
Yep.
If you're like, hey, I can't come now, I don't feel comfortable. We get it. We're going to be online for you. But for those of you who want to be in person, June 28th, only one service on that day at 11
a.m.
and you have to RSVP to be here.
Yep.
And we will take
have
the
limited
first
seating. We're social
65.
distancing.
We're halfway there. We just released it last night, so we're halfway there.
Yep.
So
we'll put that link on our social media later today.
Yep. So
but it was in an email last night. So.
Yeah. But again, if you can't come, hey, if you can come, we want you to come. If you can't come, we're going to be online, and we're going to be going back and forth so you can kind of see what's going on live. Yeah. But either way, it's going to be a great experience. So
we want you to connect with us however you feel comfortable. So.
And yesterday in the mail, maybe an email, you got the summer calendar. If you don't know what we're talking about, check. I didn't get it in the mail, so
I haven't yet either.
Yeah, so it's coming.
Hopefully you'll get it today, tomorrow.
Yeah. And then it's also, I sent out an email yesterday, so make sure you check your email or go to our social media. Yes. But there's a full summer calendar. We're going to be at the parks tomorrow. Let's go ahead and talk about that.
Tomorrow we're going to be at Frisco Commons, which is right down the road from the church. And we're going to play some yard games, frisbee, cornhole, spike ball.
So middle school, 10 to noon, and then high school will be
in the evening.
In the evening sometime.
We're
Check
not sure.
Your email. Yeah, I don't know.
It's on our social media.
But come hang out with us. And that's the first thing we're doing. And then we're doing some other things throughout. We're doing outside things. I know it's hot, but come hang with us. All right? Yep. And then for those of you who just graduated, congrats.
Congratulations.
If you didn't see our senior tribute and honor
from last
service,
Sunday, go back and
watch last week's, but you graduated, you did it. We have a thing called Freshman Challenge because we want to get you connected to our college ministry. Even before you leave, we have a college ministry here. It's called Paradigm, and we want you guys to join it. And so there's a Freshman Challenge. Get on Paradigm Frisco on their Instagram and find out more information about that, or let us know if you have questions, all right? And the best way to follow us is our social media. Where do they find us, Brittany?
At Blue Frisco. Anywhere you can follow social media. So Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, that's all the places. Mostly Instagram and Facebook is where all the...
And even sometimes a low-key TikTok, but not very often.
Very rarely.
Because I can't do this enough.
We don't dance.
Hey, yes. Hey, do us a favor right now if you're watching. Smash that subscribe button.
Hit it.
We are at 366.
Yeah.
Which we're making a slow tick towards that 500 mark, which I don't know what that means. But if we get to the 1,000...
We can stream from our phone. That's all it means.
So that's cool.
Yeah. So
anyway,
cool.
Hey, again, say hello to us in the chat right now. Say
Sam's running the blue chat.
I'm watching. So. I'm on my living room. I'm on my living room. I'm in my living room. Whatever. Let us know where you are.
If you're in Big Church over there, maybe pay attention.
Yeah, or just keep watching. We're cool with that too.
Good.
Hey, favorite summer snack, Brittany? It's summer snack time, and I'm gonna go right now. It's a hot take Sunday.
Hot take on a cool treat.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna go Bahama Bucks every time.
Favorite summer snack?
Over the snow cone lady. I know.
So are you saying that snow cones is your favorite summer snack?
No.
Okay.
I just want to get that hot take in.
Out there.
Yep.
Okay.
So snow cone lady, we love you, but
you don't.
Bahama Bucks.
Yeah. Bahama Bucks is better.
So
not for your bank account, but I would argue.
But when you roll like me,
TC Shaved Ice on Main Street is far better than both.
Okay. All right.
So.
But favorite summer snack, I'm gonna have to go. Some good watermelon.
Oh.
Like a good little bowl of watermelon out in the front porch. Yeah.
On the front porch?
Just some salt. Just me.
Oh, you're a salt?
Yeah, you gotta eat that salt. Unless it's a real good watermelon and Those are hard to find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I liked
So-
watermelon. It's so lovely.
Or Bluebell ice cream, like just
With
a
some
scoop
peach
of
cobbler?
vanilla. Bluebell ice
good.
cream.
I'd have to say mine is
It's
a good s'more.
Have yourself a Bluebell country day.
And we're back with the singing.
So anyway, yeah. What did you say it was? I don't know.
Well, you were singing. It
I
doesn't
was
matter.
just- yeah.
You don't listen. Cool.
We'll go back and watch
It was a s'more. That's my favorite
Oh,
summer
yeah.
snack and fall,
Mm.
but mostly
hot,
summer.
hot take. Not a big s'more fan.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And we're still friends. See?
Unless it's Blizzard. You put anything in a Blizzard, I'm on. I'm in it. I'm for it.
All right. Well, hey,
we're glad that you are watching.
Tell
It's-
us what your favorites are.
Yeah, right
and
now in
maybe
the
some
chat.
hot takes in the chat. Because
Yeah.
apparently favorites just mean let's get some opinions going.
Yeah, let's get some
Yeah.
hot takes going this morning.
It's good.
But let's don't get hot Takis. I don't like those. I don't like any hot.
Cheetos and Takis.
I don't
No
like
thanks.
hot
Yeah.
Cheetos. I don't need that. Just give me the regular Cheetos.
Yeah.
I don't need just a regular chip is fine. All
All
right.
right.
Hey, we are going to do a game this morning in our state
Of the
art game facility. So without further ado, and it's a messy one, folks, let's head over to our game department. Sean?
Okay. We're back.
We're back. We're
There it
still
is.
here. Hello, Blue, and everyone else watching. I have never been more nervous to play a game I came up with in my life. Joining me in our state-of-the-art gaming facility today, Mr. Blaine.
What up?
He's so nervous. He told me right before this, "You do all the talking." So what we're gonna do? I have these safety goggles on because stuff may happen. We literally don't know. Let me just tell you what we're gonna do. All right, we're just gonna play a little game called Rock Paper Scissors Cup. And so me and Blaine are gonna play Rock Paper Scissors against each other. We have filled some solo cups with things. I don't know. I filled 3 and Blaine filled 3.
Now, this was sold to me as though my 3 were going to go on him. So I had that in mind. Now it seems like it's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
So I know what I got, and it could go on me, and I'm horribly nervous.
Yeah, he's been pacing, and we're about to just get sick. We have a sick bucket just in case, because we don't know what the other person brought. Now, the way that this game is going to work is we're going to play. Whoever loses has to reach over the only at blue sign and touch a cup.
Yeah.
Whichever cup he touches, which he's going to lose all 6, I will pick up and dump on his head. All right, now safety goggles, because I don't know how acidic any of these things may or may not be. I must be allergic to one of them. But yeah, the only rule I told Blaine, I said no urine of any kind. So we know that is going in our favor. Okay?
I didn't get that message.
Did that not go through?
No.
Boy, I hope you lose all
We'll be
6.
right back.
Talk amongst yourselves. All right, now, in the chat, go ahead and just, start making your predictions of what's in the cup.
What could
or
be in these cups?
what could be in them, or who
Yeah.
do you think is going to get more dumped on their head or slightly on their face? Who knows? Or
Yeah.
down their shirt.
Like,
I took my shoes
If
off.
that happens, I don't even know.
See, I took my shoes off because I don't want whatever it is dripping into my shoe, okay? So, here we go. Without further ado, I'm going to take these off because I'm feeling pretty confident.
Mm-mm.
All right, Blaine.
Are we ready?
So the way that we're going to do it
Okay.
is we're going to go 1, 2, 3, throw. Okay.
That's the only right way to do it. If you don't do it that way, you're wrong.
See, I've had to come around to that. All right, so here we go. All right, you
All right,
ready?
here we go. Ready?
So let's do a practice run
Okay.
until we get our time.
Okay, we got a time.
ready?
Ready? Rock.
1, 2, 3. Huh. Okay, so we tied on paper. Okay,
That's good.
so here we go.
Here we go.
Loser picks. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, shoot.
Yeah, baby!
Of course, I lose the first one.
Okay, so you pick your own.
So
then.
I gotta-
Is that right?
Whichever one I touch, I don't even know where they are. Is it this? There's a cup right there.
Pick in
Okay.
there. Could
So
I,
you want to hand that to Blaine?
Can I have that
What's in there?
one? Have that one. Oh man,
What is it?
I just
you
I just
have to
dump
wait.
it, right?
What?
dump
You want
on
Do I
to-
need this? Okay.
We're cooking up some.
Oh, that's cold. Oh, that's so cold.
What is it?
Oh.
That is black bean and corn salsa. Start that recipe
Okay.
off nice.
So, good thing I had the goggles, because if there's jalapenos in that, we're going to be saying some things that can't be edited. All right.
Shake your head.
Oh gosh, it looks gross on the ground. Oh. Okay. Here we go. Next round. Go.
All right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ah! I knew you were gonna go rock. Ah! Okay.
All right, what do we got?
This is so cold.
Okay,
Like
what are you
now.
picking?
It's
Here we
so
go.
cold in my shirt right now.
Please
This.
pick the one. Is that
Okay.
it? Please let it
No,
be.
I think I brought that one. Yes, I'll take that all day long.
What is this?
It's sawdust from my song. Oh, and it smells bad mixed with beans and corn.
Put it in your eye.
Oh yeah, I should have put the goggles on for
the
that.
goggles. All right.
Oh, it's in my mouth. Okay. How am I
All right,
losing?
we're ready.
How am I losing my own game?
Your own game.
All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, shoot. Yes!
No!
Yes! All right.
Give me some signals here.
No, I don't.
You know the one I
don't even
want.
look. Don't even look.
I'm going to go that one right there.
Okay. I hope. Is it the one?
Don't let it be. What is it?
Put your goggles on.
Yeah, you put your goggles on. This one's frothy.
I can't do it. Oh, I think I know what it is. It's disgusting. No!
Okay, ready?
No!
Here we go.
No!
That was starting to curdle up.
That is some
Ew.
that's some heavy whipping cream.
That is totally like.
I think it's old.
I mean, what a combo.
Oh man!
All right, here we go.
All right, ready?
You want to take the goggles?
I think so.
Who knows? I may need them. It's gonna like do. Oh! Whipping
All right.
cream and salt.
You ready?
It's-
All right.
Ready?
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Yeah. What was that? No! He did. He had a paper and a scissors.
No, that's
What? No, you did this. And then you
Okay.
went,
Definitely paper.
all right. I guess it's. Are we going again? All right.
No!
No.
You,
Okay.
I had scissors. You had paper.
Paper, scissors. Okay.
You
We're gonna
got
go right there.
Okay.
No, don't let it be. It
What
is.
is it?
It's the one, isn't it?
Nope.
I'm going to lose my mind.
No, this one. I brought this one. This
Okay,
Is,
fine.
this is a good old cold can of country style baked beans. So many beans in this game.
I don't want it. No.
Country beans and whipping cream in the state of the art. Oh, wait.
No, I think
You
I'm
need
fine.
it? Okay.
I'm fine. Okay, here we go. Ready? We're gonna slip and fall.
I know. Right, ready?
Right, ready?
That one didn't get me.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
What was that?
I can't
Ready?
see.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. No!
Go! It's in my eye. Okay. Oh.
Oh no. Where are they? Are they like all
They're
in the
like
middle?
they're in the
both
center.
right here.
There's two?
Yes.
Oh, there's only two left.
Yeah.
Here we go. Okay. It is smelling now.
Oh no, what is it? What is
Definitely
it? No.
smelling now.
Is that the one you brought?
Okay. My day just got a whole lot better.
Do I need this? Oh, this smells terrible.
We have sardines.
Oh, come on!
Oh.
Oh!
They're on your head.
Oh!
They're just sitting there.
Oh, I feel like they're
Like a
swimming in my
crown.
soul.
Ugh.
Oh gosh, what is it?
It's
Why'd
on
you
your
put it on
head
the
right
table?
now.
Oh,
Lean like this.
nope, I'm leaving him. I'm gonna leave him and throw him on the blade if I lose again. All right, ready? This is our last round.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Yes! All right, Blaine, you get the last one.
That's it. Here we go.
That's it. Here you go.
All right.
This is an old container of night crawlers and dirt.
No! What do you mean? Are there bugs in there?
No, it's not bugs. It's worms.
What kind of worms?
The ones that fishy.
I don't think I can.
I got sardines on my head. You
No.
got the worms. All right, here we go. Worms and oh my!
Yeah, no way. That's insane. No! No!
Hey, stay on the tarp. Stay on the tarp.
Yeah, okay, there. All right. Oh gosh, I almost went down. All right, so there we go. I guess we tied.
Nobody wins here.
Oh gosh, I just smelled those. Oh, you might want to turn this off soon.
Okay.
Oh, it's a state-of-the-art game facility. You can't wait to see it in 2 weeks at Bloop. That stinks so bad.
Wow.
What?
That's horrible.
That's pretty
this
disgusting.
This is why we let them do games and we just
we
don't.
just host. So that's pretty terrible and terrifying and horrible and smelly. So anyway, well, that's our state of the art game room facility.
State of the art. Get out of here. You're disgusting. You're getting stuff on the
Oh,
carpet.
there's
footprints on the carpet now.
There's footprints
Wow.
of sawdust and sardine
Oh my
juice
gosh.
all over the place.
Poor
Well, hey,
janitors.
let's switch gears because
Let's
that's what we do
completely switch
in
gears.
Blue.
Please.
We go from something crazy like that right into what God has for us.
Good.
One of the things that I'm missing really a lot is worship. And I think all of us are missing that. And we have such an amazing group of students. Like that give. Josh was talking to me just about this with the seniors who have gone from 6th grade to seniors playing in our youth band. And you know how much time they give to that? Like hours upon hours every week. And they practice, and so it's so cool. But we need new musicians. So if you're like in the Corona time, like, hey, I need something to do this summer. Talk your parents into getting you a guitar
or drum set
or
a ukulele,
tambourine, and like learn to play it because we need some new folks. So when we kick this thing back off, we'd love to have you. So that's really cool. That's how most people start. Mm-hmm. They just grab a guitar, get on YouTube, start learning, and they go for it. So if that's you, we need you. But this morning, we are going to sing with some of our students.
Yes.
And we're going to sing a little song called Graves Before Gardens.
Graves into Gardens.
Graves into Gardens, sure. Yeah, I can't read my own writing. Graves into Gardens. It is a jam of a song.
It's so good.
Here's the line that they say over and over again that I love. Mm-hmm. There is nothing better than you. Yeah. And so this morning, let's just declare that wherever you are, whether you're in your car, whether you are in your house, wherever you're watching this, will you just say right now, Jesus, there is nothing better than you. There is nothing better. My girlfriend, my boyfriend, my video games, TV shows, the book I'm reading, whatever it is, there is nothing better than Jesus. So this morning, can I challenge you just to sing wherever you are? Just belt it out. Just right now, I want you to turn to the person that you're watching this with and say, "I'm about to sing."
I'm about to sing.
All right. So, and if you're watching it by yourself, just have a conversation.
That volume a little bit.
And let's go. Let's sing this together. There's nothing better than you.
I searched the world, but it couldn't fill me. Man's empty praise and treasures that fade are never enough. Then you came along and put me back together, and every desire is now satisfied here in your love. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing, nothing is better than you. Oh, I'm not afraid show you my weakness, my failures and flaws. Lord, you've seen them all, and you still call me friend. 'Cause the God of the mountain is the God of the valley. Oh, there's not a place your mercy and grace won't find me again. Oh, there's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing better than you. there's nothing better than you. There's nothing, nothing is better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing, nothing is better than you. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can.
Awesome. What a great song, and what an even better Savior. Amen.
Amen.
So
Absolutely.
I love the lyrics. I don't know the bridge, the chorus. I'm not musical, but it says this. It says, "You turn mourning into dancing. You give beauty for ashes. You give shame into glory. You're the only one who can." And that's
good.
a good reminder
Yeah.
for us and what's going on in our world. And
Yeah.
Brittany, we live in a broken world. We
Yes.
know that, but now I think more than ever, as we look outside and we watch news and we see what's going on in our nation, we know that we live in a broken world. And right now, we are confronted with this new issue. I guess it's not a new issue; it's just an issue that's kind of risen to us once again. But our black brothers and sisters are hurting in our nation, and so there's been protesting and all kinds of things going on in our country. And so, and as followers of Jesus, we hurt when people hurt.
Yeah.
And when someone is being treated unfairly or poorly or unjust, then we as believers need to mourn with them and hurt with them. And so we have to act, and we have to pray. And so, like the story of the Good Samaritan in Luke chapter 10, we have to, when we see someone in need, we have to act. We can't just pass by, right? We can't just
Absolutely.
pretend like
Yes.
nothing happened and go about our business, right? So I just want to, this is a video that talks a little bit about race this morning. And then what can we do? Because I think all of us are like, what do we do now? We see everything that's unfolding before us. And so this is an interview that I did with who?
Daniel, our college pastor.
Daniel, our
College
college pastor, and then his dad, Dennis. And so great guys. We went to a Mavericks game with them
Yeah, we did.
not too
That
long
was so
ago,
good.
which was
Yeah.
super fun back when Mavericks before Corona. But anyway, this is an interview we did with them. So enjoy, and we'll come back and have some talking points in just a second. Hey everybody at Blue, welcome. We're having a great conversation today. This is Daniel. You know Daniel. He's our college pastor here. Love him. And this is his dad, Dennis. And Dennis, you're a pastor where?
Yes, sir. Point of Hope Church in Louisville, Texas.
Okay. And so just want to have a conversation because there's a lot of things going on in our world right now. A lot of good things. A lot of things that make us maybe a little nervous. So we just want to talk about those things. And so thanks guys for joining me in this conversation. I guess one of the things, this word racism is out there. And that's a strong word, and we can get kind of lost in that word sometimes. But I just wonder if you guys have a story. Maybe Dennis, you have a story of maybe it's not racism, but you weren't treated equally either. Is that fair?
That's right.
Yeah.
I believe my first real story was, or real understanding that there was a difference, or people treated people different because of their color, which we call racism, was when I was third grade and we wanted to join the Cub Scouts. And me and a group of kids, that all hung out on the playground, we went to the meeting after school for the Cub Scouts, and the gentleman that was leading the Cub Scouts was also the fire chief for our city. And in the meeting, he stressed that he wasn't taking any kids of African American color, and so unfortunately, we would have been left out. And two of the mothers, which one was my mother, and there was another mother, said, you know what, my kids want to do this, so I'm going to be a part of this. And so they created our own den, and so our den was led by ladies. And so it was, and in the end, we were one of the better dens, and we created a lot of accomplishment. It became a lot of fun, but I wonder if the experience would have helped both sides, if we could got to know things about each other that the Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts were created to do were hindered because of one person's racist, ideas.
Yeah, and even in that moment, no one really stood up.
Nobody
to the
stood
fire
up.
chief, right? It's
Nobody
like,
stood
no,
up
let him.
because of who he was in the neighborhood and who he was in our community. And so even though it was an after-school event and something that was done on the school campus, none of the school principal, leaders, teachers, or anybody that were there at the meeting stood up.
Oh,
so
wow.
you're absolutely right.
Yeah, Daniel, you have any? I know little time has passed a little bit from this generation, but do you have any stories that maybe it wasn't racism, but then again maybe you weren't treated as equal?
Right.
Do you have any?
Right. I definitely believe that his experience would definitely be a lot different than mine. One, just keeping in consideration just the different times, but I do think that driving while black is a thing. Like I get pulled over an uncharacteristically amount of times than other people, and there was actually this one time I was driving from just through West Texas, and I was driving my dad's church van, and the cop actually pulled me over, and he gave me the entire drug ladder. He asked me if he could search my van, and I told him no. But it was just one of those things. It was just like, and I'm sure I don't know if it just was one of those cases where it just looked questionable or things like that, if it was another driving while black situation. But it's just, we get that those type of cases more often than not, and those things are very unfortunate. And it is one of those things that I don't necessarily keep like a list of just wrongs of what people have done, but at the end of the day, I don't know whether racism is at the core of how someone treats me, and so I don't put a bunch of attention towards that, because I can't figure that out. Racism is one of those things that's a heart issue, and so at the end of the day, we might not ever know what was at the core. It could be someone's bad day, or it could be how they treat people in general. And so I don't put my attention, my energy on those things. And I give you other stories, but like I said, just on those things. But it definitely is a difference in how people of color are treated in America, just based off of what we see. And so
yeah. Okay. Yeah, and so that word racism gets thrown out a lot, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's a racist. Someone, students, and they say a joke, and not good, but it's just in our culture. People joke about everything, and then all of a sudden he said something, so he's a racist.
Yep.
Well, what's the argument there? How do I don't know.
Yeah.
Are we too quick to judge that someone's a racist, or how do you know? I don't know.
Sometimes we are. And a good example of that would unfortunately be the Drew Brees situation. And those that don't know, Drew Brees, said what he said. I just think it was, and this is where I come, where we have to really care about one another, but also have understanding and empathy toward one another, because his issue about the flag was his issue. But the problem was, it was not the time for it. Here's a time where the nation's basically grieving because of the incident that happened, that everybody could see was right or wrong. It wasn't no in between. You either said this was a wrong situation, or maybe this is questionable.
Yeah.
But because he made that statement, now it's deemed racist, because sometimes it's a statement we may have made without understanding. And
that's good.
And so that's where I
and everything is timing. Leadership is timing, right? And so maybe what he said wasn't wrong, because if you know Drew, he's done a lot for that community.
Exactly.
But timing and sensitivity and seeking to hear and listen before posting.
And it also feels like it's combating the momentum of the message of what's trying to be trying to be told, because that's just what it's felt like. And so to answer your question too, I think that that struggles with racism doesn't necessarily make you a racist. Racism is one of those things that are in plenty of our blind spots. And a lot of times where you see scenarios of racism, it's not always the intent of being racist. And I'm not saying that there aren't cases of people who have that intent of being racist, but more times often than not, it's unknowingly done. And so I think we have to be more vulnerable about accepting the fact of we all have blind spots when it comes to this. We all have prejudices based off of the world that we are presented, based off of impacts of things that happened in the past. And so we have to accept that reality. And struggles of racism or recognition of your blind spots of racism doesn't make you a racist. We all have them. And I think that makes us better if we're not quick to throw out, oh, you're racist because of that. We don't define other people and other things based off of what they've done. We judge people off of who they are. And MLK has that quote, judging people off of the content of their character. And that's how we should be, not also of things and actions defining who people are for the rest of their lives or who they are. I think we should be more accepting of people being exposed to their own blind spots so that we can grow together.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And because I think, Dennis, all of us have some kind of prejudice when we see anybody, right? We make human nature, sin nature. We see someone and we think, or we see a homeless person, we think, oh, if I give them money, they're going to go do something bad with it. If I think we all have those. So I love that, Daniel, that we just need to check our heart on everything. Not just people, but especially people, because we're made in God's image. But everything needs to go through the filter of Christ. Right? Yep. And so it's okay to struggle. It's okay to go, yeah, I don't know, that homeless guy looks scary, or to guard yourself, but at the same time, get to know him. What's his story, right? That's right. Yeah. So always taking the stuff to the filter of Christ is so good. Yeah. Let me ask you this question, because I think, and we'll get back to this other question too about so political right now, so divided. But one of the things that people point to, they'll see someone like a Morgan Freeman, they'll see someone like I think Larry Fitzgerald perhaps, and they'll say, hey, there is no racism, and they've been kind of banging that drum, and then everybody hears that and is like, well, if Morgan Freeman said it, by the way, he played God, then I'm good. He's spoken, right? How would you guys respond to that?
I would respond to that on Morgan Freeman's scenario a little different than Larry Fitzgerald because of the time frame in which he grew up and what he experienced. Maybe he's, compared to what he went through and experienced, what he's dealing with now or has to deal with now is probably nothing compared to him. But for us that are in this era and that we've grown up in this scenario, we've inherited a lot of these things. And one of the things I can say is it's real. When we look at, sentencing and jail sentencing, we look at bail. I was looking at a thing where 3 guys all did the same crime and they were all together. And there was, kids from, Hispanic kid, black kid, and a Caucasian kid. Well, the bail for all 3 were different, and for the same crime. Do you look at, I mentioned, in another situation where the lady that was homeless wanted something better for her kid, put her kid in a different school district, lied about it, and got 5 years. 5 years of prison. Yet a parent that wanted her kid to be accepted to college paid to have the SATs taken and to get her kid in school and paid $13,000 for a kid to get in school, and she got a couple of months probation. Well, we see that's a systematic thing that happens, and it causes a reaction down the line, and so those are real, and they haven't went away. And so.
And if you want to know if racism exists, ask somebody.
That's all you have to do.
Right?
And you have to ask. And you're going to get different answers.
Sure.
You're going to get, that person that may be afraid to say, you know what, racism exists. And then you're going to get the people that know, you know what, these things are different. We got to do some things on purpose, to make the playing field level. From schools to education to, whatever. If we look, there's how much diversity is in our companies. There's some companies, you look at the commercials, you already know they didn't have, you know, a diverse group, because somebody that was really diverse that had a voice would say, you know what, this might not be a good idea to do this commercial. And then the commercial goes flat, and then they wonder why. Well, they had the wrong people in the room, you know. And you see that more than often, you know, in our society, because we're in a time now that if you don't have everybody in the room, you're going to miss out.
Yeah, yeah. And just, I love that, right? If you don't have everybody in the room,
Yeah.
you miss out on somebody's perspective is not being at the table, right?
That's right.
And we can even go there with church, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
many times we have white church and we have black church and we have, you know, all, we just go all the different colors and we got them all.
Yes, sir.
But what could we learn from one another?
Yes, sir.
If we got in the same room and just said, hey, your perspective's a little different than mine. And you know what? That's
Yes, sir.
okay.
That's right.
right?
That's right.
And going to what you were saying, Daniel, I think we're so political right now on this issue. And you can just get on Twitter and just see the hate.
Yes, sir.
Both sides.
Yes, sir.
And then you can see some good. And then, but I think right now, maybe, Daniel, students are like feeling like, I'm just overwhelmed. Like, I just survived COVID. You know,
Right.
2020.
One thing at a time.
I'm trying to get out of COVID,
Yeah.
and now this, and I just, can you just talk to like this generation? Like, how do we even cope with all this?
Right. And I think it's a reality right now. It's a lot going on at the moment, and that you will have friends that are on one side of this, and you have a friend that's on the other side of this. But at the end of the day, this is everybody versus racism. And we're all working on this thing together. And I think it's important to understand that. And it's also important to know that we might not see the full benefits of our efforts. And so I think we have to be okay with that. The benefits of it might be seen through generations beyond us. And we have to be okay with at least working towards making the world a better place one day at a time. And so I know that we can put all that unnecessary amount of pressure on ourselves to just hopefully we can snap of the finger, fix this thing, but that's not reality. This is going to take time. And so I think it starts with our expectations before diving into it, of knowing that and being okay with the fact of like, we might not see the benefits of the change that we're speaking for. And so a lot of times you'll see on social media people saying, oh, they're on this side of it, unfriend me, block me, and all those things. And I want to tell you guys, since you're in middle school and high school, is that people your age are still forming opinions and beliefs. And a lot of people that you meet base their opinions off of what their parents present to them. And so they're still establishing their own perspective towards things. And so I want to encourage you guys, don't ruin those relationships. Don't cut those people out of your life just because of their stance on these things, because they're still developing those things on their own. Like, you can wait till they're a lot older and those things are established for sure for themselves before you cancel them, because cancel culture is just so big right now. We want to cancel everybody, the people that are celebrities, people in our own life. And so keep those relationships, keep those networks. Don't let where they stand on these things to cause you to cut them out of your life, because they're still developing those things and learning perspective right now. And then another thing I would say with this thing is just protect your peace. Like, yes, you're passionate about it. Yes, you want to see change. But at the end of the day, like, know and trusting God to be the resolution here. And so them trusting God means trusting in His timing. And so it's not going to always be under our preferred timing with this. We wish this whole thing could be over tomorrow, you know, but that's not reality. Okay. And so we have to protect our own personal peace. We have to kind of know what we're getting ourselves into and be okay with the results. And I'm not saying stop trying, stop going for it, but don't overextend yourself too far, whether to the point to where it impacts you too much. Okay, don't allow things like this to cause too much division within your family and getting kicked out of the house and all those things. All these scenarios and situations we've heard of because of where people stand and lie on this. Okay, my encouragement for you at this age is just to kind of do your best, let things play out, and let people formulate their own opinions on their own about this before overreacting into things that impact you long term. So
Yeah, that's good. And I think something that we can learn, hopefully that's going on, is that it's okay to have different opinions.
Yeah.
Now, if they're racist, no, right? We can agree on that.
That's right.
But how we evaluate that and what we, I think in our culture, and we all know this, but it's like well, if I disagree with you, we can't be friends.
Yeah.
And like you said, if everybody doesn't come to the table, even those we don't like,
That's right.
we miss out on learning what God has for us. You know?
That's right.
And I'm reminded of this. Daniel and I spent some time in the woods of Colorado, and one of the things about nature, one of the things that one of our leaders said that night was like, isn't it cool that how beautiful it was outside, like beautiful, but that's not God's image. Right? We're made in God's image.
That's right.
And we tend to go out to the beaches and the mountains and love all that.
Yes.
But what God wants us to love is His people.
That's it.
As different as they are, as different as we look. I just walked away with that going, yeah, the mountains are good, the beach is good. But you know what's better? My brothers and sisters in Christ. Because that's God's image, right? I love that.
That's right.
Well, Dennis, like, students are watching and probably some parents, and so like, what can we do? What do we do? How can we help this whole situation? What are some things we can do?
I think the greatest thing we can do is be the difference in our influence. We can't, we can, and once we get voting age, vote, and and we can, maybe run for political party or, be some leader or do something great. Those are wonderful, but that is a rarity. The majority of us, the greatest thing we can do is be the difference in our influence. And everybody's given a spirit of influence. There's friends, there's classmates, there's teammates, there's parents, there's children. Some of the greatest lessons I learned and things I learned about life, I learned from people that didn't look like me. And it was because, hey, they invited me over because I was playing with their kid. Or you know what? Invite somebody over that looks different. Not only invite the child, but hey, let's invite the parents. You know what? We never seen, Jim's parents. You know what? Hey, Jim, why don't you and your mom come over? We'll grill some hot dogs. That had to be something great. But, to start where we are. And I believe that is the part that the church and because the church, like it or not, we're called to be the difference makers. And we're called to the forefront of this. And if we're not on the forefront of this, I don't believe that the influence that God has given the church will actually, if we're not leading this and we're behind on this, we will miss out on the influence God has given us. And I believe God has given the church a voice. He's given His people a voice. And matter of fact, He's already told us, if my people which are called by my name would humble themselves and pray, seek my face, turn from their wicked ways, He said He'd heal the land. So what we're experiencing in our land is a result of the church. We've been silent. And it's been both sides.
One of the things you said is, too, which is what we're doing right here, is have a conversation.
Yes, sir.
Right? So,
Yes, sir.
like students, go sit with somebody that's not like you at the lunch table. I know
Yes.
we're in Corona, you're not going anywhere for lunch, but go when school starts or in your neighborhood. Like there are people in this city who don't look like you. Have you talked to them? Have you had a conversation? And I think that's so cool. And again, what you said, when you come to the table and everyone gets a voice, you learn something. Right.
Yes.
And not you miss out.
Yes.
And I think that word is called ignorance sometimes, right? If we don't listen to one side, right?
That's right.
So just loving your neighbor, having a conversation, finding out where you can make a difference, because we're difference makers. So,
Yes.
Pastor, I'll give you the last word on this. You got some fellow believers. What would you say to them? What would your charge be to them?
I want to say we have to now, the church be the church. We have to come out of our comfort zone. We're being called to be on the forefront, but we're called by God. And if we're going to be pleasing to God, we have to look at everybody as the same. We're all in this together. The same blood of Jesus that was shed on Calvary's cross. He didn't just die for black people, white people, Hispanic people. He died for all. And matter of fact, that's what He said. He says, that His love is shed abroad in our hearts by the Holy Spirit. So if we're going to operate in the love of God, then we're going to have to touch people. We're going to have to be different, and we're going to have to be the one that breaks the ice. Don't wait for somebody to come up to you that looks different than you. You be the person to reach out to them. And I believe that's what's going to be fulfilling the call that God has for us, is that we get on the forefront and we reach out on purpose, that we do things on purpose in order to get to know other people that don't look like us. And we can learn from, from people that we traditionally wouldn't have met. I don't care, you may say their background is, a different religion or different things, but I want to tell you, you can even learn from them and they can learn from you, and it will shape a greater foundation and of what you know about Christianity when you really get to have those conversations. I think that if we would do that, we would really be going out making disciples in the world like he's commissioned us to do.
Yeah, that's good. Well, hey, thank you guys for being a part of this. We'll continue the conversation. Of course, you can, Daniel's right here on our campus, so you can, don't take all his time. He's busy. He's got stuff to do. But have a conversation. I know several people this week have reached out and had coffee and just learning from one another. But just want to have this conversation with you guys and let you know that, hey, we need to stand against what we see injustice. And what you said, Dennis, is injustice somewhere. One place is injustice for everywhere, right? And so this is happening in our nation. We need to pray for America.
Yes.
We need to, but more than just pray for America, which we do. We need to look in the mirror and pray for ourselves and say, hey, what can I do? How am I being the difference maker? Am I doing? Is there any wicked way in me, Lord? And if it's not racism, it's something else, right? So let's be the people who. It's time for the church to stand up and be the church. It's time to say, if you're a Christ follower, it's time for you to really be a Christ follower.
Yes.
So, and that's what's going to change the world. So, thank you guys again for the conversation, and we'll see you soon.
Awesome.
So good.
Well, good to hang out with those guys and
Learned so much.
And Dennis, if you're watching
Thank
another
you.
Mavs game, come on, take me to another Mavs game. Hey, Brittany, just kind of thinking through all this, and I think again that we can just learn from each other. Having a conversation with somebody, it's
It
cool
changes the world.
that you blow up Twitter. It's cool that you're angry on Facebook. We get it, but how about you have a real conversation with somebody? I think that's kind of what my takeaway was. And yes, we need to advocate for laws, of course. But it's got to be more than just I'm mad, right? It's got to be love your neighbor and just have a conversation. I think that challenge. We're not going on mission trips this summer, which is kind of a bummer. But here's your challenge, high school, middle school students that are here watching us. Here's your mission trip. Find someone this week that's different than you, and that doesn't mean
different, looks different, talks different.
Doesn't have to be like I gotta go. Just someone that doesn't even have your same belief system. Find somebody and just ask 2 questions. Here are the questions: how you doing with everything? Number 1, and 2, how can I pray for you? And when you ask those questions, let me say them again. Just find somebody this week and say, how you doing? Everything that's going on in the world, how you doing? And 2, how can I pray for you? And I double dog dare you. Is that a thing? I double dog dare you to ask someone that question this week. So that's your mission trip right here in Frisco, is that you find someone and just ask the question. Real quick story last night. We went to Rice Pot. One of the pots.
Yeah.
And we had this great meal together and
A bunch of friends of
group
ours,
of friends. And
And the
I
news
just-
is on the
yeah,
whole time, so
the
we're
news,
just watching
yep.
all this crazy news.
And so I just asked the delivery driver, we're watching together, and he looks over, he's kind of looking at us, and he's watching, and I say, hey man, we're yelling across the restaurant. I'm like, what do you think about all this? And then he begins to just kind of unpack his thoughts and tell us about it. It wasn't confrontational. It was just like we're listening to him, and then he rambled for a little bit, and then he asked us, what do you guys think? And we were able to kind of have this dialogue. So dialogue is good. We don't always have to be angry, and I think that's kind of sometimes our go-to is like, I'm just going to, blow everybody up. And it's like, how about you just have a conversation? So challenge you to do that this week.
Yeah.
Hey, if you are watching and you need prayer, yes, thank you, Brittany. I do want to read because, yes, this is
Sums it
God's
all
word.
up.
This is
Yeah.
God's word. This is what Jesus says to us in John 13, 34 and 35. He says, a new command I give you. Love one another as I have loved you, so you must love one another. And check this out. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another.
So good.
And so that is so key and so huge. And so we need to love one another. And it starts again. You're like, hey, I can't do anything about Atlanta. What's going on in Atlanta? I grieve for what's going on in Atlanta. But I can love my neighbor. And I can stand up lovingly and pray for that on my social media accounts. But at the same time, sometimes it just starts with loving the person that's in your own city, in your own neighborhood.
You
So
don't have to tweet it. You can just
do
talk
it.
to somebody.
It's crazy. All right, so so there is injustice in the world, and we as Christ followers want to stand for that. And listen, this is my last thing, and I'll get off this soapbox. But wouldn't it be great to be known as believers what we're for, rather than what we're
Amen.
against?
Come on.
And so many times we're just anti. Wouldn't it just be cool to go, you know what? Praying for y'all, love you, and we will act, right? We're going to do some things too. We want to vote. We want to contact people. We want to do those next levels. But let's be known for love.
Which is
all
what
right?
y'all's whole conversation was. We want to be known for Jesus.
Yeah, absolutely.
For other things.
And we can't, this whole thing can't be fixed without Jesus.
Amen.
We can pass
Preach.
laws, and we need laws. We can do different things, and we need those things.
Mm-hmm.
But without Jesus Christ being in the center of this, is why the church has got to rise up and stand up.
Come
So
on.
anyway, that's awesome.
Preach.
Hey, we're gonna have our intern Megan close us out in prayer, and so Megan is here. And by the way, before you pray, Megan, if you're in the chat, you have prayer requests.
Yes.
We want you to fill out that link. We want to pray for you. If there's something going on,
We do look at it. I promise.
yeah, we do
it's not
pray
just
for
anonymous,
you.
yeah.
So fill that out. We want to pray for you during this time. If there's something that's heavy on your heart, personally, maybe the anxiety of the world, put that in there, and we'd love to pray for you. So Megan, will you pray for us?
Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for today, and I thank you just for the cool conversations that are happening. I just pray that we can learn from one another, that we will just have those hard conversations that aren't always comfortable, but that we will just allow ourselves a space to learn new things and hear other people's point of view. I just pray that as a church we will stand up and that we will make a difference and that we will be an example to others and that we will just love each other and that we can make a difference and that we will have the encouragement from others and that we will just do our part to love one another. And I just pray for our country that we will stand together and that we will just push towards love and treating each other with kindness. And I just pray for the student ministry that we will start getting to hang out and just continue to build those relationships this summer. And in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, all right. Well, hey, tomorrow you'll get this in the mail sometime
hopefully.
tomorrow.
Woo!
But it's also in your email. But tomorrow is Monday Fun Day.
It's the summer of rhymes.
Monday Fun Day.
Frisco Commons 10 to noon for middle school. And what time for high school?
6 to 8.
6 to 8.
High school.
So
Yeah.
that's tomorrow. And so come hang out with us. And then
Cornhole, spike ball,
Can jam.
can jam,
Can jam.
frisbee.
All the
And we're just
games.
going to hang out. So
Yeah.
if you don't want to play games, just come see us.
Yeah. And then June 28th, we are back here. So you got to RSVP.
Yeah.
So jump online, jump on our social media and get that link. And then next week, it's Father's Day.
Yeah.
And if you're like your dad, Megan, there's a lot of children. So make sure that you get your dad a gift, at least a card, right?
Yeah, do something for your
Okay,
dad.
I'm just
I'm
saying.
the good one.
Okay.
Talk to the
Nope.
other ones.
Okay.
It stopped
All right. Well, we're done here.
because we're out of disk space.
Okay.
So sorry. Oh, it says it's still going.
Oh,
I don't
it's
know.
not- I don't know. Maybe
We
you
don't
weren't
know.
here.
But hey, Father's Day, do it.
Get your father a gift, right?
Yes.
And we'll hope to see you soon. And have an awesome week. Go be a difference in the world.
Yeah.
See ya.